all week. We'll continue to talk about it as this marks the very first time that all three divisions will be hosting a joint NCAA championship game, all because of the celebration of Title IX and the 50th anniversary. On June 23rd, 1972, that marks the time where 37 words transformed the trajectory for all girls and women in sports and education. In the law that stated, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The UMD basketball team wasted no time in highlighting the importance of that and what was to come after earning a spot in the NCAA Division II title game when Brooke Olson immediately spoke on what would make this year's NCAA championship more special than in years past, and it all being centered on the anniversary of Title IX, something that Olson says people like her mom and UMD legend coach and Hall of Famer Karen Stromey bulldozed through. Olson added that playing in an event of this magnitude with this anniversary is really special.
Women's athletics is really fun to watch, no matter what sport it is. I mean, there's discipline, there's skill, there's physicality, everything imaginable. And so I think just Title IX, giving the opportunity for young girls to feel like they can do literally anything in the way that, you know, the sport has made me feel like I could do anything and be just as good of a player as anyone that's come before me and is going to come after me.
Title IX's 50th anniversary offers several moments to reflect on the work and progress that has been made in many areas of athletics and education. And of course, Heidi, the Bulldogs are very excited to play on college basketball's biggest stage tomorrow. Olson also added that she's just excited to give this opportunity back to those women and share it with them too.
Definitely an awesome message for athletes everywhere and such an exciting time for the Bulldogs. Alexis Bass live for us in Dallas tonight. Alexis, thank you. And as